As the eldest of three siblings who have been witness to many of these reactions of this chemistry, we were initially a little alarmed. But gradually over the years, it became more a source of entertainment for us, watching free shows at home, munching popcorn. Well, because for one, we were sure that it would always end up as a happy cinematic union. Only we were not sure how long the movie would last every time. Somewhere down the line, this hero and heroine managed to display that affection for each other in our presence. And that made us feel secure and happy during our growing years. So here we are, launching the book, the autobiography of this couple. I now request Shri Dibakar Ghosh, the editorial director of Rupa Publications, to give the welcome address.
You know, it's a publisher's delight when you have a story as powerful as this. When I was reading some of the things in the book, it just kind of plays out the entire era, pre-independence, post-independence, modern India. Everything is played out in this book. But like Dr. M.S. Swaminathan has said in the foreword of the book, this book is eventually about essential reading to understanding modern India. And I'm sure all of you will enjoy reading the book.
It was very gracious of Swami Gautamananda Ji Maharaj, Vice President of Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, to give his benediction.
When we celebrated the 150th year celebration of Swami Vivekananda's birth, we decided that Dr. Krishnaswamy would produce a 52-episode TV serials depicting the life and message of Swami Vivekananda. What we gave was a small pittance, but he took it as a labor of love and did it so well. It became a very, very successful serial, and he got a very good response from the TV audience. I found him a versatile, talented person, and he had a great love for our country, its civilization, its religion, its philosophy, and its history. So this great person impressed me very much, and more than everything, I found him to be a lover of humanity. We were very intimate with one another, and he has depicted, or he has brought out many of the important incidents in his life in this autobiographic book, and I am charmed by the style of its depiction. So Dr. Krishnaswamy has done a great service to our country by bringing out his biography. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda to bless Dr. Krishnaswamy and all his people.
We request Shri Banwarilal Purohit, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, to release the book. I request Shri N. Ravi, publisher of the Hindu Group of Publications and former editor-in-chief of Hindu, to receive the first copy. Yeah? We'll include it somewhere.
Going through Dr. Krishnaswamy's book, An Unlikely Chemistry, what strikes one is that he has lived through very interesting times, both in his personal life and in his professional career. At one level, this is a fascinating work portraying the change taking place in India from the early years of independence in social mores, attitude of film and political personalities, and of urban life itself. At another level, it recounts his experiences, incidents that sparked his creative ideas, the challenges, the noble and the less than noble qualities that he encountered in personalities that he met. Dr. Mohana Krishnaswamy is an equally notable character figuring in this book as his partner both in personal life and professional work. The term magnum opus generally refers to the most significant book, but is also applied to other creative works. Among Dr. Krishnaswamy's many and excellent contributions, it is difficult to choose which is his magnum opus. For me, the choice narrows down to two. First, his book on Indian film that he co-authored with Eric Barnow, which was the first definitive academic study of the Indian films and the Indian film industry. Second, his epic narrative of 5,000 years of Indian history, Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi, shot in over 100 locations in different parts of the country, and that took 16 years from the time it was conceived to come to fruition. The book takes you behind the scenes of the creative processes involved in both these works. During the emergency, the then Information Minister, Mr. V.C. Shukla, suggested that Indira Gandhi should appear and speak on the film to introduce it. But much to the author's relief, Indira Gandhi turned down the suggestion on the ground that it would erode the credibility of the film as an independent work. This is just scratching the surface of the book. Let me congratulate Dr. Krishnaswamy and, of course, Dr. Mohana Krishnaswamy, who is also one of the central characters in the book, for providing us a fascinating account of their lives and work.
There are many firsts to the credit of Dr. S. Krishnaswamy. His pioneering research on the history of Indian cinema was the first of its kind about 55 years ago, when his book, Indian Film, was published by Columbia University Press. His next landmark achievement was the making of his 4-hour documentary, Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi. It was an independently made, double feature length, no fiction film, first of its kind in India, exploring 5,000 years of history. It was also the first Indian film distributed by a Hollywood company, Warner Brothers. His documentary TV serial on the involvement of people of Tamil Nadu in the freedom struggle was the first to explore that theme. And perhaps most importantly, his pioneering films on the impact of ancient India on Southeast Asia constitute a body of work not available even in print medium before that. And now this book, An Unlikely Chemistry, the first to be described as the autobiography of a couple, genuinely shares the credit for all these amazing achievements with the woman who became his fiancée after their marriage. Indeed, this book is unique in many, many ways. My acquaintance with the Krishnaswamys blossomed into friendship when I performed a role in a short story in one of their TV serials some 30 years ago. I carry many pleasant memories of those days. I discovered the exemplary professionalism and creativity of both Dr. Krishnaswamy and Dr. Mohana. My co-actor, Sri Jamni Ganeshan, and I admired the theme, the very sensitive treatment of that episode titled Iduvum Oru Svigaram. I have observed Dr. Mohana as a very active, involved and creative producer of the documentaries and TV serials of Krishnaswamy Associates. Here, may I say, I am emboldened and inspired to express my special admiration for this august lady. When the gods and goddesses dance, the cosmic energy generated and created this amazing cerebral, what should I call you? A cerebral marvel. You're a marvel. The book starts as a biography of a loving couple, a scientist and a historian filmmaker, but simultaneously develops into a narrative of the social history of India over the last 6 decades, commenting on many political and other events which had impacted on their lives. This fascinating narrative is at once intimate, factual, and scholarly, but crafted to make it earthly, entertaining, and immensely readable.
This book is a story of a marriage between microscope and a bioscope. And it is a very successful story. Normally, people write biography about themselves, but here is a case of a biography of a couple, which is very rare. A man will write and say, all my success because of my wife. In fact, most of our judges, when they retire, they say, I thank my wife at this time. Not all the time, but only because he has to go back home. So in that way, I think this is a very unique, and Dr. Krishnaswamy is a correct person, especially when we are celebrating the centenary of the Indian film, Tamil film industry. Here is a person who comes from 2 generations of filmmaking, and I'm sure what is recorded is a very good historical facts which will be useful for a further appreciation of the film world. In that book, his magnum opus, Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi, he makes a reference that people having misconception about the title, and Sri L.K. Advani, who saw the film, he didn't have any objection except for the title. In fact, it's one of the very good portrayal of the Indian civilization, starting from the olden days till modern history. So in this case, it is not unlikely chemistry. The likely chemistry worked out, and the microscope and bioscope have done a tremendously good job. And this book is a very well written.
I have never read an autobiography of a couple so far. The book was sent to me 5 days before, and in 2 days I finished reading the book. Krishnaswamy was a bit surprised when I told him, I've read the book. He said, really? The time was enough for you? Because of readability. You take the book, it's like a fiction. It's like a beautiful, lovely language, easy, and lots of interesting content matters, anecdotes, incidents. It's really extremely readable. The content, of course, everybody has talked about it. It varies from religion, philosophy, politics, governance, to interpersonal relationships and social problems. It deals a lot about the changing aspects in Indian society. His American experiences are, let me say something in the lighter note. Some of his American experiences are really nice to read, and you can have a smile while reading it. I mean, along with serious things, lots of nice anecdotes like this are also there, and the seed for the magnum opus Indira Gandhi to Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi was sown in America. He saw a distorted version of documentary film on India, and he was very upset. So he went to on the dais and objected, and he said, this is not the way. Then his professor told him, if you want to show your anger, show it by taking the right picture and giving it to people. He said, I will do it once I come to India. And that's how Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi started. And for that, he has traveled about 60,000 kilometers and covered about 120 locations. When I read about it, I was reminded of my work, Knit India Through Literature, wherein I covered 18 languages, interviewing 102 writers from Rajasthan to Manipur, Burma border to Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Even in 90s, it was so difficult. But he did his work in 70s. Can you imagine? The type of, unless he has had that kind of passion, it was impossible to go through the Herculean task which he completed. And I had the privilege of seeing it and reviewing it in Maniyan's Idayam Peshigirathu. And Mohana wanted to be a doctor. That had been her dream. But After marriage also they tried because she had such good marks. But they couldn't do it because of her caste, forward community. She couldn't get it. Writing an autobiography is not easy. It's very difficult because you will be hurting somebody in the process because you have to be absolutely truthful, transparent, and without that there's no credibility for autobiography. But this book, friends, it talks about the ups and downs and how people let him down. Somebody promised, he has mentioned the name also, so that they can arrange finance for Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi, but then how it was dropped, and the strained relationship they have with friends and certain relatives, and they have talked so openly about everything. It's a very transparent, honest autobiography, and I would like to congratulate Mohana and Krishnaswamy for this honesty. And this honesty, I feel, has added on the meaning in their life.
The government of Denmark offered me a research position in a laboratory there for 3 years. Babu, that's how I call my husband at home, happily volunteered to take the children with us to Denmark and to be a house husband for 3 years, looking after them. Even as we were getting ready to fly to Copenhagen, a breakthrough came when Captain Srinivasamurthy Drug Research Institute at Chennai, a unit of Central Council for Research in Ayurveda and Siddha, New Delhi, offered me a position to pursue research in Ayurveda. I was thrilled by this since my commitment was to be involved in medical research while the offer in Denmark was in protein chemistry. Hence, I decided to stay back in India and pursue my research in Ayurveda. Within a few years, I could prove my mettle by succeeding in preclinical research in developing Ayurvedic drugs. The Hari Om Ashram recognized my work, and I was given a national award for this work at the Ayurveda University at Jamnagar, Gujarat. International recognition came by way of an invitation from the Institute of Medicinal Plant Development in China to deliver lectures there and exchange notes and their scientists and practitioners of Chinese medicine about their research methodology. I spent 5 weeks in different parts of China. Then a major blow came when government policies interfered with my academic work. You will find details in the book. In the essence, the curse of casteism, a policy which favors the reserved against the deserved, even in institutions of scientific research, grossly interfered with my work. I had to choose between continuing with frustration or changing my track to an alternate avocation. This is when Babu offered me the choice to work at Krishnaswamy Associates, and I gradually learned the new art form. With my intrinsic interest in Hindi literature, being a student of Hindustani music, and with a diploma in dance, I had more than rudimentary proficiency to change the vocation. Babu described it as an ambivalent transition in his book. As though, for proving it to myself, I won an international first prize at Helsinki for my documentary film on the status of women in Tamil Nadu, within a couple of years of changing my vocational track. I have followed this path for about 35 years now, and I have been thankful to my husband for encouraging me and giving me this opportunity. My thanksgiving has reached the pinnacle of whatever he has written about me in this book. In fact, he starts the book by saying, I am writing the biography of the person dearest to me, my wife. It's valid since our biographies cannot be written isolated from each other. Hence, it is titled Autobiography of a Couple. In the opening chapter of the book, Krishnaswamy says, quote, no two human beings reach a perfect understanding of each other. We are no exception. Marriage gives you the opportunity for such understanding to a great extent, but it is for the couple to grab the opportunity and succeed in building a genuine relationship. After all, if you truly know just one person, you would actually know God. The most difficult thing is to know oneself. Next only to knowing oneself is to know any other one person. Why not your spouse? Unquote. And now I wish to conclude with my favorite Sufi poem.
खुसरो बाजी प्रेम की, खुसरो बाजी प्रेम की, मैं तो खेलूंगी पी के संग, अरे जीत गई तो पिया मेरे, हारी तो मैं पी के संग. The great poet Amir Khusro says, I gamble in this game of love because if I win, my fiancé becomes mine. If I lose, I will still be always with him. In any case, it is a win-win situation. As you know, Sufis consider God a romantic partner. Thank you all.
I'm happy to be here today at the function being organized for the release of this book titled An Unlikely Chemistry. This is the story of a couple who combined their patriotism with passion for history and filmmaking. They have together made some outstanding documentary films on Indian heritage and culture. The book describes in detail trials and tribulations faced by them during the production of their purposeful films for more than half a century. The book conveys how Indian culture has been a perennial river of wisdom and in a way deals with the state of the nation. In the last 5 decades, this complicated web is woven into a symphony and ends its conclusion on a philosophical note with a commentary on the nation's future, that of the world. The author also conveys a comprehensive narrative of eyewitness account of recent historical events. Apart from his interpreting history, both ancient and contemporary, in short, it is an amazing book on a wide variety of topics, covering tapestry of Indian society. Written in a highly readable manner. In the book, he quotes a conversation with his wife where he says, I tried to impress on her that parents are really trustees of children. Trusteeship assigned by God, and that we could pretend to be angry, but we should not really get angry with them at all. Very important. And I think everybody should follow it. It's a very important hint given to all the parents. Marriage requires falling in love many times and always with the same person. Mutual respect and a healthy dose of admiration and the ability to give and take are, I suppose, what make a successful marriage work. In the case of the author and his wife, I noticed that in addition to just living through life as husband and wife, teamwork has also been remarkable. Surely, Dr. Krishnaswamy, Dr. Mohana Krishnaswamy stand out as an example for the institution of marriage, which is one of the pillars of our culture. Wonderful, made for each other. By producing documentary films reflecting the best examples of Indian culture, Dr. Krishnaswamy and Dr. Mohana Krishnaswamy made a contribution that will remain alive for many more centuries, be the inspiration for succeeding generations.
While most of us use our creative talents to enhance our lifestyle, here is someone who always places the interests of the society before his own interests. Dr. Krishnaswamy, the author of the book, would now give the vote of thanks.
In my first meeting with the Honorable Governor about a month ago, he very graciously agreed to be the chief guest at this function and release the book. I found him a combination of simplicity and spontaneity while accepting the invitation from a stranger. My impression about him is strengthened by his very kind address today. I have the honor and privilege of claiming all the 5 guests of honor to be my personal friends for 20, 30, 40 or more years. I am very grateful to each of them for sparing their valuable time and joining us this evening. I'm also honored by the presence of several other distinguished friends and dignitaries. I can't name everybody because then I will exceed the time given to me for this function. I must mention the presence of Sri Yal Ganeshan, Member of Parliament, and former President of the Tamil Nadu unit of BJP, and Mr. Tim Boyd, the International President of the Theosophical Society. Well, to be honest with you, I have been working on this book for about 80 years. I will be 80 in 3 months. So that's minor exaggeration can be permitted, instead of my saying 79 years and 9 months. And about 5 years ago, I started to write Mohana's biography, explaining how a brilliant scientist had to change her career because of national policies. The concept for the 2 books merged, and this, what is released now, was born. Biographies and autobiographies are major sources to understand history, social history in particular. This book is a conscious effort to contribute to such history. I have written our story wedded to truth, but eliminating the ephemerals and recording only what I consider important to understanding of such social history. To repeat a few acknowledgements from the last page of the book, I once again thank the one and only Professor M.S. Swaminathan for his thoughtful and gracious foreword. My profound and loving gratitude to Mohana, the inspiration to write this book. Thank you all for responding to our invitation and spending an evening with us.